Welcome, Reflections. You are over here with Tarithia, and we are here for another Root Workers Hoodoo Voodoo Tale. With that being said, if you didn't check out my other videos, definitely go check them out. Some I'm going to get on camera and read out loud, and some I'm just going to do the audio. So with that being said, Reflection, we are going down in the South, and I want to tell you a story about how the medical and hoodoo kind of went together way back when, long ago, but not that long ago. And this is actually the book that we are referencing from. If you have this book, then you can follow along. If not, don't worry about it, I got you. So let's get started, and don't forget to hit the follow button, the like and subscribe button, depending on which platform you're on, so you don't miss another story. Well, let's get started. Medical professionals seem to either be fascinated by the holistic methods of root work used to heal both physically and spiritually, or appalled at the use of such works. Some professionals claim to have patients who are undergoing stresses that were attributed to conjure. The 1949 death of a 32-year-old African-American female in Montgomery brought attention to cultural stresses and trauma as possible result of conjure. The woman had discovered a number of strange objects around her home, including various cloths, feathers, and colored vials of powder. She feared that someone had crossed her, and she began to panic. Over a period of 5 days, the woman began to grow physically ill. The following evening, she dropped dead. However, her death certificate stated that she died of an acute heart failure. The local press stated that coroners, doctors, and others who sign the death certificates are somewhat hesitant to sign their names to a certificate with the cause of death as voodoo, which is also known as a black art which existed in the South since before the war began. Alabama State toxologist Dr. C.J. Ronning had testified to a number of trials involving conjure. Reeling in his spare time, he had collected a number of fetishes, as they were called, including amulets made of animal remains and mojo bags. The toxologist spoke on the effectiveness of conjure. Voodoo can kill. There are a course of many complex elements that contribute to such death. The degree of superstition of the victim, cardiac condition, the pitch of fear, imagination, and the fear of the unknown. Some neurologists reflected the physical conditioning, education, and hysteria implication. Physicians in Tennessee and Mississippi were often critical of black spiritual healers in the Mid-South. Memphis-based physicians had been noted as criticizing the growth of spiritual healers on Beale Street and the loss of patients due to root workers in the city. The Mississippi State Board of Health became so concerned about the popularity of African American spiritual doctors that they issued a public statement regarding the system of healing. In Mississippi, Quakes grade all the way from ignorant, illiterate hoodoo doctors to the urbane variety who drew customers from the very elite of our population. Dr. R.N. Whitfield, the Assistant Secretary of the State Board of Health, the board went on to smudge the potential benefits of hoodoo. Essential to the success of hoodoo, or the most pernicious quacks, is the ability to deceive the public into believing that he possesses a miraculous cure for any complaint. By insisting the logic, the state of Mississippi appeared to assure its citizens that any form of spiritual healing was dubious at its best. The fear of African American healing systems would continue to affect national decisions regarding health and disease. In 1958, a number of school children in Atlanta, Georgia, became sick with a trace back to what they believe are artifact of a voodoo doll from Haiti, where they believe to be the culprit following of an importation of small dolls that was made from cashew nuts and juju beans. Newspapers alleged that a hoodoo was connected with the importation of the dolls. The fear of the dolls spread throughout the United States, with officials in the city such as Canton, Ohio, removing all dolls from their local shops. Almost 20 years later, the perceived threat of an African American tradition was feared to be entering the schoolhouses of rural Mississippi. In April of 1976, students from Mount Pleasant, Mississippi schools started exhibiting strange behaviors. Officials noted that over 15 students and several teachers had suddenly began fainting at Sand Flats High School. Local papers reported that teachers and students who have seen the spells said that the girls suddenly fall on the ground, kicking and shouting, "Don't let it get me. Get it off of me." The attacks last from about minutes to as long as 15 minutes. Some pupils contend that one girl has been putting voodoo hexes on her classmates as a result of an argument over a boy. The sheriff said that some of the students may have brought in a state narcotics agent, a highway patrol, Some of the students believe a strong belief in black magic. Marshall County Sheriff Kenneth Smith brought in state narcotics agent, a highway patrol investigator, and a number of deputies to investigate the possibility of narcotics at the time. And they had no suspect of odd behavior. Authorities found no evidence of drug use or voodoo. The fear of the spiritual doctors and conjurers using cursive techniques such as hypnosis and suggestion on clients became part of a paranormal as well. As far back as to 1928, practitioners were accused of using quackery to deceive their clients. Dr. J.W. Gillespie, who touted himself as a palmistry and a hoodoo expert, had been walking the streets of Greenwood, Mississippi, selling various alleged magical objects. The self-proclaimed doctor promised to bring the loved ones back together and even get rid of those who might interfere in their love life. Some items that Gillespie was used to discover included rabbit feet, mercury, and other traditional items. Gillespie was warned to leave town but returned. And when he returned, he was arrested under false pretenses. So with that being said, reflection, what do you think about these particular tales that went on in Montgomery, Alabama? And what do you think about the students in Mississippi that were actually falling out? Reflection, they were falling out and they were saying that certain spirits was on them, and it was alleged that one of the students was actually putting hexes on the other classmates over a boy, allegedly. Okay, so they also talks about that in Greenwood, Mississippi, Dr. J.W. Gillespie, actually, they warned him not to come in town, and he went back in town. He was just selling his little spiritual items, and when he came back in town, he was arrested under false pretense. They said, "I told you, don't bring your ass back." That's what I think they said. Reflection, they said they were serious, okay? And even that reflection, they also touched on Beale Street in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, where they were saying that it wasn't unfamiliar to go down there and get you a mojo bag or get you a little, get what I'm saying, get you a little bit, do you believe in magic? Reflection. So think about that and think about these places today, reflection, and it'll kind of tell you why certain things are the way they are. And it'll also tell you, reflection, if you look at art tells pictures. Remember, pictures tell 1,000 words. So with that being said, reflection, until our next story time, Ashe.